We're going to talk a little bit about Huskies and Heroes and let you know what's going on and what we've been working on, because we've been working really, really hard. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Huskies and Heroes is, why it's important. We're going to talk a little bit about what success looks like. We're going to introduce the program manager. We'll give you a timeline of what's been happening since we launched, what's coming up. We're going to look at a charter program team organization and the stages that the veteran, not the veterinarian, the veteran can work through, and our needs and what you guys can do to help. So Huskies and Heroes is essentially, it's a program that benefits Taisha Blue Rescue Dogs by matching hard-to-adopt dogs with military veterans for training sessions by the veterans. And it's really pretty simple, and it sounds really simple. But I was looking at some statistics. 2011, so just, 6-ish years ago, the number of animals being killed in shelters, adoptable animals being killed in shelters, was 2.6 million. That number in 2016 is 1.5 million. That's a 42% drop. I mean, that's pretty amazing, and that's pretty awesome that fewer animals are being killed in shelters. So what do we attribute that to? I would say better shelter management, better processes, just better public awareness, and more people adopting rather than buying a puppy. So all those things are helping. But 6 years ago when we started and we were pulling in dogs into rescue, they were pretty easy dogs. They were, they would be like, hey, we have 5 dogs we need you to help with, and you take some easy ones, you take some challenging ones, but for the most part, the challenging ones were being euthanized, and we were easily able to pull those easier dogs. Now those shelters are better able to adopt out those easier dogs, and they are looking to rescue to help with the challenging dogs. Now it might be medical challenges, it might be behavior challenges, it might be dogs who just simply didn't do very well on their temperament test, and they might not really have all that many issues. But as shelters are getting better, if rescue doesn't adapt to that and doesn't have the ability to take in more challenging dogs and get them to a point where they're able to be transitioned into homes, those dogs will continue to die and will hit a plateau. And that's why this is so important that we be able to take in some of those challenging dogs. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a foster. I don't have a ton of time to spend training and working with my foster dog. Not to the level of getting a difficult dog ready to be adopted. I think about a dog like Ty. He needed work every single day, and he needed consistent work every single day. I certainly didn't have that kind of time, nor did I have the kind of skills to work with him and to get him ready for that. And he was in rescue for a year. So what happens if we can accelerate that training, keep it consistent, have a program in place that not only trains the dogs, but helps train the foster family to then continue with that consistent training? Can we shorten that window to 4 months? Maybe it's even 6 months. But we can save more dogs by helping more by doing that. So that's kind of that's the idea behind this. 22 U.S. veterans commit suicide every single day. 1,836 dogs are euthanized every single day. And these numbers are they're the why. So what does success look like, right? Lauren tells me this is going to start.
My name is Tim Snyder. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Army, Iraqi war veteran. I was stationed in Kuwait City, Doha, Dhahran, and KKMC. After I got out of the military, when I came back to the civilian world, it was a big transition. It was long transition. I didn't feel like I belonged in the civilian world. I felt lost. I felt like I was missing my brothers and sisters in the military, and I didn't really have too much of a direction. When I first came back, I met a dog, and we hit it off very well. Very good bonding, very good friendship. He was like my brother, my best friend. We went everywhere together, and I started to finally feel like I fit in the civilian world because of him. I think Huskies and Heroes is a great transition for the vets coming from military and trying to adjust to civilian life. These dogs are going through the same things that the vets are going through with the separation, anxiety, new environment, not knowing quite how to deal with the change of what's going on with them. And I think there is a potential for a fantastic bond between the two because they will provide unconditional love, guidance, and support all the time, whenever you need it. The dog will always be there for you. It will always be your point man, and it will always have your six. For more information on this fantastic opportunity, please visit www.huskiesandheroes.com.
So I want to have Warren come up. Warren Duffler has been the key driver in putting this program together. He is our program director for Huskies and Heroes.
Program director. Double my bonus?
Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for coming out. I know this is a huge passion for me. If you know me at all or know our story of our family, come grab me. I'll share it with you. I don't want to share it right now. I wouldn't make it through it. But yeah, I can share why this is so passionate for us. Go through a few things. What's happened since we launched? Where are we at today? What's the program going to look like? Give you some examples of what it's kind of looking like. But before you jump in, just my passion around this is, and maybe why it's been going a little slower than some people like it, is good, cheap, or fast, right? And I pick two typically. Well, you're a nonprofit, so you automatically got the cheap part, right? I mean, unless I've got some donor who donates real big. I want this a quality program. One of the biggest things when we research this is the lack of quality is usually the failure of a lot of nonprofits and a lot of programs. And because you're successful out of the gate, but you don't have this infrastructure behind you, you fall down on yourself and you start making mistakes, and all of a sudden your reputation is not great. Tasia Blue's got an incredible reputation, and I want Huskies and Heroes to be just as good as Tasia Blue's reputation. And so that's why maybe we're going a little bit slow, but we're going to make sure we have the right things in place for success. So what's going on? October, we announced it back at the fundraiser, the big, what are they? Huskies and Heroes Ball. What did you call it last year?
Huskies Rock Knowledge Ball.
There you go. Right away, we started looking and saying, one of the big things we're going to need right off the bat, we're going to have some trainers involved. We started looking back in November for some trainers. We also established some program mission, vision statements. What are we about truly? So everybody can sit down and go, okay, that's what you're about. And then we started looking at, in December, we started looking for a facility. You can't do this program without a facility as well. I mean, you might be able to do it temporarily without a facility, but you got to have a facility. So we really started then ramping up the public exposure in December. We did a public announcement. Mike did a fantastic newsletter that went to the World Herald and other sources that we published out. We did an open house where we invited, what did we invite? A couple hundred people, I think. I think every senator in the state of Nebraska and the unicameral got a letter. The governor got a letter. Our national senators and congressmen got letters. They were all aware of the program, and just where all the congressmen, all the senators from the national level responded and continued to correspond with us a little bit. So they're looking for us to see what we can do. Again, Mike did a press release. He launched the website. He launched the Facebook site. So Mike got going right away. We did a video for that open house, and we called it "Why Is This Important?" Video 1. It's not a public video. It's a video that we use in Tayshawa Huskies and Heroes internally, but because this is going to be published on the web, we didn't want to post a video today. It's a very impactful video, and the person just wants to keep a little more confidential about the video, but it's a very impactful video. So, all of a sudden we go through December, we get even on the TV show, the Morning Blend, and Jackie and Mike Bell, and let Diane and I go on TV, which is fun, I gotta admit, but it was a lot of fun. I was nervous as could be, though. I mean, Diana was more calm than me, and she was freaking out.
At least you didn't have a dog puke on it while you were
Yeah. But they had food right before there, and Mackie was just like, oh, where's that? I want it. And you can kind of see there's a little gap between December and February. A couple of things happened there. Jackie's job went crazy, and I changed roles in my job. So what happened? We had to feed the family. So we kind of had to focus on our job situation a little bit. So January, we didn't get as much done as we kind of hoped to. But we really started kicking it back up here in February. We did that second video you just saw with Tim. We were published in a magazine called Babe and Bliss Magazine out of Reno, Nevada. So if you think you're just impacting Nebraska, you're wrong. This is getting nationwide exposure, believe it or not. We established a framework, so now you had your mission, vision. Now you have to start laying out your organization, the framework of your organization. And we started launching in creation of teams and team leaders. So we started pulling in those volunteers who can help us, who can. So then we really started cranking things up in April. I mean, it's been fun. We launched Huskies. If you see H&H, I abbreviate. I'm in IT, we abbreviate everything. H&H, so Huskies and Heroes, a GoFundMe page. Have you published that at all?
It's out there. I have not broadcast it yet.
Right. GoFundMe it's more based on an individual, so it's more Jackie's GoFundMe page in support of Huskies and Heroes. And we're looking at having a specific Huskies and Heroes GoFundMe page. It won't be GoFundMe, but donation page. Established the team charters back early. The 19th, this is exciting. April 19th, we put a letter of intent on a facility. It's still in negotiations, so we can't talk about it, but it's exciting. We actually, I'm ready to go. Let's go. When everybody sent that email yesterday, I was like, okay, what did it say? April 20th, Jackie did a fantastic, if you haven't heard it, it's a really good half-hour long internet radio broadcast. Fantastic. I think you did a great job. It was fantastic. And then today we got our volunteer meeting today, and then we got a lot more events coming up. So I want to show you what's coming up. But first, I got to show you something. That little guy or gal is our first Huskies and Heroes hero dog. This is the first dog that's going to be going through the program. Is she in Lincoln?
She's in Lincoln.
She's in Lincoln. Can we throw a thanks out to Chris? She's going to be our first Huskies and Heroes dog.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome.
Mike named, I think you named it, right? Amazing Grace? Right. All right.
Or Gracie Poo.
Grace
She
Hopper.
responds to that.
I think that's Admiral Grace Hopper.
It is, yep.
Now, anybody, you can't answer this. Anybody know who Grace Hopper is? No? All right. So,
You should name Admiral, so Navy.
Navy, but she didn't get that until later on in her life. So, born in 1906.
Yep.
At age 16 years old, female. Short little thing. I've seen pictures of her. At age 16, she completed her prep school and tried to get into college back then, right? So that had been 1922. Basically said, get out of here, you're female, you can't do this. She didn't stop her. She continued to push through. She got her mathematics degree in one of the fastest programs ever for female, male or female to get through. World War II happened. She's 34 years old. She's been doing math. She's got her doctorate's degree. Tries to get into the Navy to help World War II and was told, no, you're too short, you're too old, and you don't know math. Okay? Didn't stop her, right? didn't stop her. She went on to get through the Navy Reserves, eventually the Navy, and was just, I mean, I could go on 20 minutes on this. Bottom line, she is probably one of the most influential person in the computer industry ever. She developed modern languages that used to be all, used to be pulling switches all the time, but she created a modern language. If you're old like me, COBOL and Fortran. Those were the languages she helped develop and so forth. So the persistence of her led to her becoming the admiral. And she was finally recognized, really honestly, with a Medal of Honor in 2010 by Barack Obama, I think it was. After her death, obviously. And but anyway, just an inspirational person who female inspiration, just wasn't going to give up, just needed a chance, and just blew the world apart. And that's what Amazing Grace is going to do. Looks like she's a little thing.
She is very stumpy. She's got these short little legs, but she's so darn cute.
Yeah, I mean, that's an adorable picture. But anyway, I think that's exciting. I mean, you can really say, we've got a dog. So, that's awesome. So, little more, it's coming. Some of these people in here are going to faint. April 29th, which is today and tomorrow, we partnered up with Patriotic Productions. Anybody know about Patriotic Productions or heard of them?
Wait, are they doing the honor flights?
They're doing the honor flights.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Deb and Colin Anderson are one of the one of the additional charter members of Patriotic Productions. They have been instrumental with Huskies and Heroes. They have gotten us to the point where we got a table for the next 2 days where the vets come in and check in. They're going to be on the embassy suites, I should clarify that. They come in, the vets come in, they go and get checked in at the embassy suites for the next 2 days. There's going to be a set of tables, not very many vendors, they've really limited, and we're going to be right there and publishing information out, sharing a lot of what we're going to be sharing today to them. If you're not familiar, they're doing the Veterans Flight, Combat Veterans Flight. They're doing 4 airplanes this time. They have these Vietnam vets come in from Nebraska and Iowa. There's a few from Iowa. Like I said, they're chartering 4 planes. They leave early Monday morning. They do DC trip. They go to well, there's a whole bunch that they're going to do, but obviously the Wall, a couple other memorials. They go out to the Arlington Cemetery, and they come back. And they're coming back in Lincoln this time. And if you're not doing anything Monday night, they land at between 8 and 8:30 Monday. Last time when they did this in Omaha, 5,000 people welcomed them home. If you talk to the vets, that's one of the most important things that they felt from those honor flights was the welcome home. The seeing everything else, the memorials was cool, but actually walking off that plane and having, as Jackie sometimes describes it, when they came home the first time, they kind of threw their uniforms away. And now this time, 5,000 people welcome them. They're expecting about that, maybe if not more, than Little Lincoln Airport. So if you're going to go, you better go early. I've already been inside information on some of the other deals that's going to go on. It's going to be an amazing night. So help support them. They're really helping support us. So if you got a chance, go out and see it. May 13th, we hope to select our first veteran to be in the program so they can start working with the Amazing Grace. Don't know if we're going to pull that off or not, but we're going to shoot for that goal. Then, May 20th, we're going to do an event and hopefully a live radio broadcast at the Exarban Cinema Center. I think it's from 4 to 8, is that right?
3 to 7.
3 to 7, that was close. On the 20th. So, kind of what we're doing for the Patriotic Productions, we're going to be doing for the general public on the 20th. It'd be great to have, your support come on down there and say hi to us. We're actually shooting for maybe that first vet and that first Amazing Grace can actually have some small interaction, training going on by then. It's one great way to launch out to the public by actually saying, yeah, this is our vet. I don't think they'll actually be at the event and be a little chaotic, but I'd be able to tell the public, we've actually got a vet, we got a dog, and we're actually going through the program, right? I threw out here a July 1 opening on the facility. No pressure. And then I think this last one's a layup. September 23rd, our first training dog, so think Amazing Grace, is adopted by the vet, which I would love, or approved application, right? Either way, but that would be awesome. So, now just some of the structure behind it, right? We have a program charter. I'm not going to read this all to you. I think are we going to publish this, or can we publish this maybe
Yeah,
on the line
we can do
somewhere? Yeah. But it just, like Jackie kind of hit over already, what is our goal and our mission? What is the structure that we got, and what's some of the responsibilities? And I like I said, I'm not going to read this to you, but the big one on the responsibilities, and we'll hit this a little bit later, is we're going to be leveraging Tasia Blue teams, right? This is a program under Tasia Blue, and we need your volunteers' help, right? Both on the intake side, foster side, and I know that's going to create even more pressure, and there may be some additional programs or structure that needs to be occurred. We've kind of been talking about that, but we have to be able to leverage the existing Tasia Blue structure to a little bit. But we're also creating a whole other group of individuals who will be helping us. And we'll go through this, but I just kind of want to say that this is not something that's it needs all of us to work together. Our expectations of people who are in this program, one is our volunteers. A little bit different in this particular case. We're going to ask our volunteers who actually work with the vets to go through a training called QBR. I don't know, I know Jess, I know you're familiar with it. Jackie and I went through the training. Think of it this way. CPR, right? I think everybody knows, has heard, or maybe someone in here actually knows CPR, hopefully. So if someone's in distress, needs medical attention, somebody can help get that person stable enough to the medical professionals get there, right? Same thing is QBR, except QBR is for suicides, right? Being able to talk to someone who is suffering, or you're seeing the signs, and have a heart-to-heart conversation with them. You're not the medical expert, you're not the expert on suicide, but you know the questions to ask. You're bold enough to ask some of those questions, because they're not, as Jackie and I found out, they're not easy questions to get off your lips. But then, how do you get them help until the professionals can come in? Our vets, remember what Jackie showed, the number 22, number of vets committing suicide every single day. Our vets that we're going to be dealing with may be in that state. We need to at least be prepared or know how to handle the situation, including we're going to, not just through the training, but we're going to have some governance around it too. How do you report it? How do you notify us if you do have an event like that occurs? So we're going to have some structure around that, because we're dealing with human lives at this point. We need to make sure we're prepared for it, and we know how to handle situations as they come up, instead of them coming up and us being flat-footed a little bit. So if you're going to volunteer in that program, what's cool about that program is it's free. Jackie and I went through it. It was 1 hour. I think typically it's 2 hours. But they've already said that if we want to have all volunteer meeting, they'll bring in the trainers for us, and we can train right here if we wanted to as an open facility if we want to do it. So that's what we're going to be doing. The dog, we have a little expectation for the dog. After the dog is adopted, we really are going to encourage them to come back and continue their training for potential certification. We want to, this is a little bit different than a normal adoption, and we're actually encouraging, once the dog is adopted, that either by the vet or by qualified, somebody's gone through the process, that they're continuing going on to getting the potential certification. We'll kind of talk what that looks like a little bit. So some initiatives. This year, we're going to have 5 dogs go through the program. We want to go have 3 vets go through the program. Facility by July. And then longer term goal, 2022, 100 dogs to go through the program. Not total, but that year. 60 vets go through that program. Not total, but that year. Right? Just look at the impact. Right? That's huge. Because you're on track about 170, 180 dogs.
Probably.
I saved in a year. All right? Well, here's another 100. Steph just fell out of her chair. So there's some asks that I'm going to be showing. It's a little bit different than what Jackie's going to be asking, and you'll see where I need some help, some additional help. Also, guys, make sure to ask questions. You don't want to hear me just ramble up here.
Well, if you're saying we can ask a question, and I don't mean that, I'm not trying to be down on it or anything, but I'm just asking, you said the vet is going to help the dog, and the dog will help the vet. But then you talked about adopting. Is there a time structure in which the vet and the dog are going to get to spend time together? And when, at what point will you decide the dog can be adopted out to somebody else other than?
That is a great
You see what I
question.
mean?
Absolutely.
You don't wanna
And we've
leave
got a
it just
slide.
stranded there.
We got,
You know?
in about 3 slides, we got
Okay,
something that
sorry.
covers, no, that's a great question. We got something that's covering that very
Okay,
specifically.
Thank you.
And luckily Mike's covering it.
Okay.
I just want to show you a little example here of the structure. The blue is the existing Tasia Blue structure. And if we miss somebody or some group, it's on me. But it's an amazing group. You got your adoptions and your adoption teams, your foster, your intake, all your foster families, the dozens of volunteers, great branding team, obviously led by the board of directors and Jackie. We're just augmenting that team. So all the blue remains, but now we're adding in the red. Fundraising, Colin Anderson will be a huge impact. Colin has got national exposure of fundraising. He used to do national fundraising for the YMCA, for Kiewit Corporation, and a few others. So he's now owns his own business. He's semi-retired, and I told him, you need another nonprofit to help. So he's helping us in there. The training, we selected Whitney and Jessica's team, Smarty Dogs. They're helping us launch, and they've been huge. And they're actually the group we're going to kind of highlight here in a little bit. Facility, Mike, Jackie, and I have been running our tail off. Emily is our individual, our real estate agent, who's been helping us. She's been fantastic. And then Melissa's been helping us also, just, what we should be looking for, possible just temporary locations and things like that. So that's been huge. The veterans, Tim's been helping us with some guidance, and he wants to volunteer. But if you guys didn't know, Tim just had a baby. Not because Tim didn't have a baby. His wife had a baby. So he's just a little busy. But we're looking for someone in that position. We need somebody in that lead veteran position who can help. And they're going to be so tight, and it may be one person to initially start. The veteran and the partners lead, we got partners coming out of the woodwork. This week alone, I got 3 referenced by 3 companies hit me up as potential partners. I've got a stack, and every day I get rows of people who are coming out and saying they want to partner with us. These are the 4 that we've formally have partnered with so far. Wagon Tails, which is Melissa's organization. Tyler Lee Anderson Memorial. That's Colin and Deb Anderson's memorial. If you don't know, Tyler was killed almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago in an accident. He was a Iraqi and Afghanistan veteran, great young man. Anyway, Patriot Productions and Smarty Dogs. So they've been, but like I said, we got more and more partners. And just a little side note on that partners, and if you don't think their people are coming out of the woodwork, one of the things we're doing today is we're going to give little bags to the vet families, and they have their blue bags, have our Cigna on it, the other one that I got your 6 Cigna on it, and believe me, it kind of came out of the blue that we needed to do this, and they're billed for about $400 for them, for these bags. I was on a WebEx, if you made the video conference, right? And I was sharing my screen and just talking to my clients. And I usually share out just the application that I'm talking to them through, but in this case I was sharing my whole laptop. Well, my background is the insignia for Huskies and Heroes. And all of a sudden one of the guys go, Warren, what the blank is that? And so we started talking, and he goes, well, that's really cool. What do you guys got going on? I told him about the Patriot Productions thing, things like that. Well, do you need anything? And I kind of just said, well, yeah. Got this bill for $400, jokingly. But I've known this guy for a long time, so we could joke about it. He goes, puts me on mute, comes back, goes, all right, the 3 of us have got it. Don't tell anybody who it was. Anonymous donation, here's $400. I mean, boom. I mean, this is going to be an event and that's why I'm maybe going a little slower than some people like, because I think once we start getting this roll, the community is really going to be hitting us on a lot of different things, and we want to be prepared for it. Program advisors, these are some people who we go to on some ideas and thoughts. Deb Anderson, and then my son Lance. Questions? Good. All right. So we're going to highlight, and you saw those teams that were in red. Each one of those teams, I'm having to do a team charter. I really am a firm believer in teams understanding their expectations, the roles, who are their teams, who do they need to interact with. I'm a big communications person, so I want to know how things are going to work together and make sure no one is caught, well, I didn't know that. So we try to get this up front. Jess, if you don't know Jess, back there, Jess and Whitney. Whitney's that short, quiet gal that, if you don't know her, who's running a 5K right now, but I told her to run fast.
If that doesn't ring a bell, Whitney's the one that had the color-coordinated markers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Minor, like, this.
Yes.
And she's corrupted Diana and getting the same kind of planner with the same color.
Pointers for everybody.
Yeah. Anyway, they have done a fantastic job. So I want to just kind of highlight, this is an example of what everybody's going to be going through. So the team themselves, they understand what their goal is or what their mission is or their expectations, who their current members and roles are, who are the responsibilities, who are they going to be working with, what's the kind of their expectations. And Jess, if you don't mind, I might have you jump in a few times if you kind of want, especially on this next page, because you got more acronyms than I even know. Kind of talk about a little bit about the program itself, if you had just a quick second on it. Don't mind.
Put me on the spot.
Mike will go deeper, so maybe just all the initials, what they mean.
Oh, all the initials. Yeah, so things that we want to do in the training program, we want to have a focus on dog body language and counter conditioning for things that we need to teach a dog or things that we need to work on with a dog. Smarty Dog training does all positive reinforcement-based training and operant conditioning training. That means we add good things to improve behaviors that we want, and we remove a reward to decrease behavior that we don't want. We do, we're working on body handling, which will be really important for a lot of these dogs. Just keeping everyone safe around the dog, and teaching, good body language, seeing what a dog's doing, is there something else that we need to be doing? Is there something the dog is telling us that we need to be doing? For our training goals, we're going to be working with the veterans and the dogs to get towards, we're not going to necessarily have a certification, I think, by the time the dog's adopted.
Right.
They can continue on with that if they'd like to. We'll be working around the CGC, Canine Good Citizen Program, so working up towards that. And then we're also going to be working mainly, I believe, in the class, which is American Pet Dog Trainers Association. There's an association of pet dog trainers, and the class program has different steps in it, but it really builds the skills that you need for a good everyday, well-rounded dog. The skills that you need at home, whether it's putting a bowl of food on the ground without your dog diving in and grabbing it, all sorts of different things that you need for just a happy everyday life with your dog. So those are the kind of things that we'll be working towards. Yeah.
For the class program, would the ultimate goal be to, finish the first level of it? Or is it just kind of following the curriculum to have guidance?
We're not sure yet. We've talked a little bit about, maybe some dogs we will have certified by the time they're adopted. And then we've also mostly talked about, setting them up so that whoever adopts a dog, whether it's a veteran or an approved adopter, they can go ahead and take that certification for themselves and complete that.
One of the things that we've always done with Tasha Lewin as a huge part of our everything is treating the dog like an individual. So there is no one answer. There'll never be one answer for any one of the 650 dogs we've ever had, but certainly not here. And that's why these guys have been so good, because their assessment skills are so solid. It's like, with Grace, Chris helped me out, she's kind of shut down and shy. For the most part.
No, actually, she's not shy, but she doesn't play appropriately sometimes. She gets worked up really quickly.
Okay. So based on that kind of firsthand thing, and the vets are going to give her what's going on with the dog is going to alter whatever these guys are going to do to train the vets to what they're going to do. So each dog, each vet really is going to have its own program.
It'll be a very
There's no
individual
answer.
thing.
Yeah. So the ultimate goal is to get the dog to an adoptable state.
Depending on what, issues the dog may have, what we're working on, that may take, a couple months or may take 6 months or.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which leads into that next. Thank you. I appreciate it. Kind of leads into a section that Mike and I might kind of go through, and it's some training examples.
And I want to say one thing about this slide, and that's this word, because just what I said, it's really going to have to be a dog by dog assessment and figure out what each dog needs, and then how quickly they move through the program is literally that. It's, you're right. It's a dog might need 3 sessions, it might need 33 sessions. So, and that's fine. So, and you saw with Warren's count that there are more dogs than vets. That's probably why we're anticipating that. And we'd like to see vets come back and be part of the program over and over. Although he's talking, he'd like to see them adopted. I'd rather not them adopt the dogs. I'd rather them be in the program and get to the point where some of our vets who are experienced are starting to train our new veterans.
I just had a question. So you said that the program is being advertised else, more than just Omaha.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a facility that I assume is in Omaha.
Yeah.
So how are we addressing vets that are outside of the Omaha area for
I'll be
training
blunt,
purposes?
we're not right now, but we'd
Okay.
like to.
But in the
We've got to
future.
start someplace.
Right.
And so, and it's really critical, as Warren said, to go slow, get it right, and build a success story for the program so that you can really catch the momentum. If you had told us 7 years ago that we'd be sitting here for this many volunteers, and as if this was the total count of volunteers, Jackie and I would have laughed. Which was no way. We wanted to save 8 dogs a year. We did 47 a year. So everything's been, everything catches. It's like it was making a snowball. So, but you've got to make sure that that start is really, really good. And that's part of why Grace it was important to us, because clearly she fits in the program, but she's not really, really difficult. We need to make sure she's very successful so that we can roll on that story and then just keep rolling. Yes, I see this program being much bigger than Take It Easy. To ultimately be successful, I also see it involving pugs and terriers. I mean, it doesn't matter. But we're starting here because we can make a difference here.
Is it possible to get federal or state grants to help fund this and possibly expand out of the Omaha area?
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages that Colin brings is his skill set and his connections, as well as grant writing connections and skills. So I think, Warren's right. Well, we think, we've got some street cred with Tasia Blue, but my gosh, when you start talking about rescuing dogs and being involved with veterans, it's like everybody wants to have their name on it. So it's almost like you have to be careful now when you let that partner. Yes. So their intentions are pure and they're truly helpful to the program and not just themselves. So, Jessica, you can jump in here anytime you want, but some of the things that I see a vet working with dogs is very simple. Just getting used to that dog being around a human being and touch and
Body handling.
Yeah. For both sides, a lot of these dogs have trouble just being touched.
I'm gonna say something real quick.
Yeah.
So all the dogs, kind of touched on it. They're not necessarily gonna go in this order.
No.
They, different dogs will just kind of start at different places, so.
And Warren and I were
Just a
back and forth
reminder.
on this slide. The arrow just looked cool. We eventually decided it looked cool, we leave it. But
Yeah.
it really wasn't a flow. It was, except that in the sense that it does start to the left with some of the more basic stuff. It does end up with advanced training.
This is how it could look for one end of the.
Right.
Right.
Thank you. Well, yeah. And again, that's why I wanted to start with the word, pointing out the word example. Every dog's going to be different.
Well, every vet's going to be different too. I think that's one of the things that this is, why I don't like this is because it looks like it's, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
But you really have 2 inputs. You got to evaluate the dog, you got to evaluate the vet.
Yeah.
And then they kind of match into the program. And that's why assessment skills are so important.
But I mean, and Jessica and Tony along, I mean, I see the first session with the vet is getting to know the dog and both getting comfortable with each other and go for a walk and sit down and do some tree work and really not pressure anybody too much.
And when that starts happening, you're gonna be, new things are gonna pop up.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
What we need to.
And you know how that works, right?
Yeah, so
Any of us
yeah.
who fostered really understand that, wow,
Yeah.
first week is different from the second week is different from the fourth week.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden it's like, wow, the dog is much better than you thought, or wow, there's some weird things showing up. So,
But even
what
like
we've got
for-
right now is that way.
So
Like
it-
it's
yeah.
been
Let's
intriguing.
say a dog that we think they come in maybe in a program for 6 months, it may end up only being 2 months once they start working with them. It'll, the timeline will be fluid.
And you've also got the level of commitment that can give timelines too.
Right,
So,
right.
you know.
And they might be surprised themselves how much faster
Yep.
a veteran is, not necessarily, but just improving, understanding things more, or some could still take a little while.
Yeah, just getting into it.
Which, yeah, so, you know, like you said, we gotta start somewhere.
Right. And there will be some
See what
things that,
happens.
you know, are very detailed, maybe a little more on beyond that. Just so that's the same story. Again, it's all down to that individual. So, but it'll be fun. And those guys, you know, we've talked to a lot of different training people, different modalities. And CGC, the program that Jackie found was kind of CGC based. But CGC is great. I've got 2 CGC dogs at home, but how often do you want your dog to walk perfectly on your side, not 10 feet back? I mean, this program that Jessica mentioned is killer because it literally trains a dog how to be a pet at home. For no other way to break it right down, it's just a good dog skills to just be a good pet. And that's really ultimately that's what makes the dog adoptable. And ultimately, that's what this is all about. Yes, we're going to help some vets along the way, but we're trying to help the dog be more adoptable along the way.
Well, do they have the same, I'm thinking they have the same thing called structure. When you're in the military, it is a lot of structure, routine, and that is what maybe is difficult when they come back, because they don't have that anymore. And the dog is the same way, is that the more structure or routine you give them, then the more you can be, the more fun things you get to do, because they know those things, those boundaries or
I was
whatever.
trying to think about this poor dog who maybe was in a home and didn't fit well, and either escaped or was getting out. And now they're in the shelter. I mean, oh my gosh, can you imagine? I mean, you really don't understand where you are.
Right, right.
And now, and maybe you're at the shelter for a while now you're out, and it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
the rules are on, right?
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah, but Tim said that really well. I have a nephew that had the same problem. He came out of the military and had to literally go back to the military because he couldn't live within the structure world. So,
I think it's important too that the training that we'll be doing really focuses on empathy for the dog and empathy for the veteran. So anything that we do training wise will be built around that. That is the basis of the training that we do. Something that we ask, personal training clients is what kind of relationship do you want with your dog? That's it. That's the one question we need to answer. So that will be really built into what we do training with Huskies and others as well.
and aside from this slide, I'm talking about colors. The biggest thing we sort of briefly mentioned is the assessment early on, finding out what this dog needs, and trying to match them up with a vet that can handle it or vets that can handle it. But we decided we'd have three different classifications for the dog, and we call them by colors. So one of the colors that we have is red, white, blue. So red being more difficult dog, white being dog may have some issues. I would guess Grace is probably more white. Black is better. So, and blue is a dog that's probably at the tail end of this program and ready to go out and be adoptable. So somebody had asked about whether we're going to certify the dogs. It's just not through a formal thing, but we may end up with kind of a hero dog certification at the end. We can get you blue or something. It'd be fun to do it for the dog. It'd be good for me for the marketing standpoint, yes.
She agrees with you.
You agree?
Well, she needs to work on meeting other dogs.
John Betty is not always a hero. She looks sweet, she looks cute, and it lets her get away with it. Yeah, that's your uncle. So, if you all don't know, Betty was born puppy mill mom, and even less than she does now. She's a full-blooded Malamute, about the size of a 4-month-old Malamute. She is 6 years old. Stephen over there actually is owned by Betty's sister, Sarah. About 8 months after Sarah was in town, and they both were born in Montana for that big seizure we dealt with. About 8 months after Sarah was in town, we decided we'd try to get the two sisters together because we had heard that they didn't like each other much. So we thought maybe after 8 months it would be better. We were glad we had very strong leashes on the two of them.
So that was the worst family reunion ever.
Yeah. We were this far apart in our house, and we just kind of looked at each other, well, that was worth trying this thing. All right. What else we got, Warren?
Jackie's slide.
All right, so again, these are the numbers, and we're going to market to these numbers. We're going to talk about these numbers time and time again, but 22 veterans a day, and I think that number is low because there's certain states that don't report into that, and 1,836 homeless dogs every day. And so that's what, we want that to go away. So what are our needs? Warren was talking about the facility. So kind of like with everything else we do, we just kind of say, we're going to do it, and we jump right in, but we're going to be headlong into raising money for that facility. It's a training facility. We'll be using it for a training facility where the veteran and the dog can go. There will be, an opportunity for them to have some playtime. The vision is to have a grooming station in there so we can, just work on just basic dog handling and grooming and nail trimming and baths and all those kinds of things that a dog needs. And so, a big fundraising campaign is going to be part of this. We want you guys to be informed of this program. And that's why today was so important to all of us, is just to make sure you guys know what we're doing, why we're doing it, what's next, what do we have coming up, what are the goals, so you can talk to it. Because people will ask you questions. People always ask questions. Oh, you're a Teach Blue volunteer. Now they're going to start asking, what's this Huskies and Heroes? Talk to us about this. We want to learn more about this. So to be able to talk about it, when we have a fundraising ask, share it with people that you know. You just never know who might be out there and might want to be a part of this. But, we kind of jump into things and this has been we've been thinking about this program for quite some time. This has been something that the leadership team and some of the volunteers got together 2 years ago and started asking ourselves, how can we do more? How can we make a bigger community impact without losing sight of our mission? And this really takes that mission of our organization, which is to save these dogs so that they're not killed in shelters, but to also have another impact within the community, and that's what this is all about. Does anybody have any questions? Your questions have been fantastic. Anything that has gone unanswered?
Is this going to be a 24-hour facility type setup, or?
You know what?
I
think that kind of remains to be seen. We want to make sure, and I think it'll be kind of up to the veteran. It'll be a place that the veteran can go to work with the dog and have a quiet space. In the summertime, and as we get kicked off, we've got Chris back there. She's got Amazing Grace. Well, we don't have a facility yet, and so they're going to be working outside, and that's all well and good in the summertime. It's not really conducive for us in year-round. But I envision access on the weekends. It'll probably be, it's not something that's necessarily public-facing, Carrie. It's just going to be a training space and a training facility. There might be an opportunity where a veteran has at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and can work with the dog. Somebody's got to go to work, so maybe somebody can drop off the dog and we can facilitate a little bit of that. So still kind of remains to be seen how that'll work. I think there's some additional revenue streams that can come out of this facility, whether we're doing some low-cost vaccination clinics or microchip clinics, or just even having adoption events out there. We currently spend money every month for a storage facility. There would be no need then to spend the storage facility rent. We would have space to store our dog food there, and quite frankly, it'd be great to have a place where fosters can go pick up, crates and food when they need it. But no, it won't be staffed full-time. We'll have to be staffing with volunteers, and so we'll just have to figure out what that looks like. Yes?
How are dogs chosen to be, and like whether they just go into regular Tasia Blue or whether they go into this?
Yeah, I think we'll probably have a better handle on a behavior assessment moving forward, but right now, we only have a handful of volunteers that are equipped to work with difficult dogs, and so what happens is when those volunteers or those fosters are full, we say no. We envision that this program will help elevate the skills of our fosters because they'll be working with the veterans and working as part of that training program. So we'll go slowly. That's why the goal is 5 for the first year. But these are dogs that the day in the life of the emails that come in requesting intake. A slow day is maybe 4 requests. There's times I've had over 12. And so I quickly assess what's going on with the dog, what's the medical needs, what's the behavior needs, what's the age, where are they located? Are they, we try to prioritize Nebraska dogs or within a 3-hour radius of Omaha, and then we kind of expand out to 5 hours. And so I reach out to Stephanie, Marie in Colorado, Erica in Iowa. What fosters do we have open? And then which dog best fits with those fosters that we have open? So the kind of dog that is going to be part of this program is going to be a dog that maybe has a bite history, but isn't overtly aggressive. We don't work with the dogs that are dangerous. We don't work with the dogs that are offensively aggressive. But sometimes dogs ends up with a bite history. Somebody breaks up a fight and they get bit, or a dog is resource guarding and they get bit. And you've worked with a challenging dog yourself, so you know that sometimes they just need a little extra work. So it's those kinds of dogs that are a little bit reactive, but with a little training can help. And sometimes we just don't know until they come in. Sometimes we think we're getting a great dog. Sometimes we think we're getting a challenging dog, and they come in and present themselves in a little bit different way. So it could also be a dog that's severely shut down and shy. I think about Rue that came in. I don't know if anybody remembers Rue that came in a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. 2 years ago. It's been fast, a couple of years. She was so shut down, she had to be carried. She wouldn't walk. And so, that kind of dog, has their own set of challenges. Grace has, her challenges are, she just needs some structure and management, but she has some resource guarding. She failed the behavior evaluation at the shelter. She would have been euthanized had we not taken her. That brings something else up, and I think, dogs that are not safe to be with the public, decisions have to be made on those dogs, and that is always the elephant in the room and the thing nobody wants to talk about. And sometimes that is a decision that has to be made for the safety of the public, which is our responsibility. By taking in more challenging dogs, we may have to make those kinds of decisions more than normal as well. So I just, want to put that out there, that there might be dogs that we are not able to help, dogs that are not safe. So that it went way beyond your question, but I was just thinking about that. That's something that I think, I don't know that anybody ever gets comfortable with it, but it's just something that is a potential as we bring in these dogs. But their outcome right now is certain death. If we can give them a second chance to get past that, I think our success would be pretty good. Mackie, my big fluffy red and white dog, he's kind of been the poster child for Huskies and Heroes right now because he was that dog. He failed his behavior temperament test 3 times. He was going to be euthanized for being aggressive. He is not aggressive. He is my bulletproof dog that I can have around puppies and babies, and I don't worry about him. And so it's that dog.
He's scared of puppies, he does not like them.
He keeps the puppies at bay. What other questions do you have? Helena?
You said something about when we do get the building, and hopefully that will work out here soon, that they have a safe place or a comfortable place that the veteran feels comfortable with. And I was just wondering, what's your guys' vision on what that safe place looks like? Is it going to be like an area that is like a living room type setting where you have carpet, you have chairs, because you're trying to teach a dog how to deal with a behavior in the home? And then would there also be an outside area of the said building that would reflect more, okay, this is how we behave outside, or whatever? I'm just asking, is it going to be warm, or is it going to be just cold, like a shelter?
I would say both. What I've got envisioned in the building we're looking at right now, I was hoping so much to get a counter offer yesterday. I know it's coming, so that means they're willing to talk to us, so that's good. But if we do get this building, my vision is to have a raw space for basic training of multiple dogs, and to have a space just like you were saying, almost like a green room of sorts that looks like a house, a home of some sort. So we can
Right, so you don't have the acoustics in the background kind of thing.
And you can work on getting down off the sofa, or if somebody just needs a timeout, somebody just needs this quiet spot just to calm themselves or to relax, that would be there. But you know what, play is a very important component for dogs, and so we want to make sure that we'd like to have, and it just really kind of depends on the kind of space we're able to get for the kind of money we're willing to spend.
Well, I play with my dog.
But we would love to have,
so it's like, well,
we would love to have a fenced area, right, where we can have play groups and the dogs can play.
Right, because then we could get maybe some money or some fencing company that would like to put in a chain link fence.
I'm thinking
for
more
us
the
that-
landlord's just going to buy it for us. I'm asking the landlord to just buy it.
Oh, well, that's good too. So,
But absolutely, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, yeah, and you know what, when this comes to fruition, whether it's now or the next space we evaluate, whatever it is, you know, we're gonna need help just getting that space, you know, ready for us, right? Because it's not gonna be pretty, it's gonna be cheap. Okay, so.
I'd like to say that the building that we're currently looking at, pretty much a PTSD survivor in its own right. So it will have a demo party, and we may have some construction parties and painting parties.
Yeah, well, that's where volunteers, or we were all help in whatever way we
Right
can.
now.
So will they knock off rent for improvements?
That's
Like if
what
you put
we're,
in a bathroom, or if you put
yeah,
in.
that's what we're negotiating back and forth on.
Yeah, we're down
I
that
asked,
path now.
I asked for a couple of moons and half a sun.
So we'll see what they come back with.
Have we gotten any input on what a veteran feels about this? Have we?
Yes.
Yes.
I know Tim
And Lance.
and Lance.
Remember the side where it says input from the additional
Okay,
people?
oh, yes, yeah, okay.
And Deb and others too.
Yeah.
And Jim.
And Jim.
Jim.
Yeah, Jim.
Oh, Jim, right here? Oh,
Yep.
thank you for your service.
So yeah, Lance has been kind of a really good guardrail for us to say, no, that's cheesy, or, you know, approach it this way. But he's been a great advisor for us.
Jim, when did you first hear about us, about the Huskies and Heroes? Were you from the inception or the beginning?
He's been a foster volunteer for a long time.
For a long time.
Oh, I had to go with my brain. Steph, how long?
3 years?
That was great.
Yeah.
Probably 4.
4 years?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you first heard of it? Was it exciting or concerning, or is it okay that I ask that question? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay. Hope?
Both.
Well, thank you, appreciate it. We all hope so too. Yes.
I'm just gonna, well, the more question I get is, how do you know this works? That's my number one question I've got probably, I don't know, 30 times. How do you know this works? That. Okay? Remember the numbers, but remember these images. That's what we're trying to do. That's changing lives.
And just so everybody knows, Jim has encouraged us over, when Jackie said earlier that there were team leaders and volunteers that have been working on this project for a few years, Jim was one of the people that said, we need to do something with and for veterans. And so he's one of the reasons that this program is being started in March. And I will point out that Jim and Nancy and Sandy take some of our hard fosters, and they work really hard with them. And so they're already doing this. They really are. They've been doing it for years now. And they help take some of the harder dogs that we have, and they make them phenomenal pets. And I usually text Nancy more than I text Jim, but I do tell them, I wish I could clone them because they're phenomenal. They do what the dog needs. And I'd like to think at the same time, it helps Jim when he's having a hard time.
Better. All right. 22 a day. It's a lot. It's more. California, Texas did not report the number. All right, so you're looking probably over between 50 to 75 a day. You're talking structure. Military-wise, you have your support network day in, day out. You all see the same terrors. You all go through the same things. You ask me, I guess you have very dark humor. You only let that out with others that have been there. PTS, post-traumatic stress. All right. You're in a car wreck. You're trying to have a normal response to an abnormal situation. You haven't. You've been in a bad car wreck. You've had a bad whatever. All right. And all of a sudden you get thoughts back, and every once in a while you come back, you have it. All right. Unfortunately, I've gone and done dark things, so hopefully those dark things in places do not come here, then they happen over there. Dogs are at that point, as I like coming through this program, they have their own PTS, all right? They have, and then some of them have their disorders. Nala, who is my alpha, I mean, at that point, that she's the typical, very standoffish. I'll come get my pets when I want them. Yeah, whatever. I like it with the dogs that are coming to the program, they seem that they're very needy, that they always want to be around, they always want to touch. But I'd say Penny was the last one we had, was a very great example. Wherever I went, she was no more than, I don't know, was it 2.5 feet? She was always there, always want to be around, always want to be touching. That they've been through, a world of shit. These dogs definitely, are very nice, and I think that we can do a lot of great things with the dogs that are out there. You have a veteran that does not, unfortunately, at some point, does not have this support network as he did back home. You come back and say, well, he has family. Well, family has no idea. Family wasn't over there. You know, family didn't do the, 12 to 4 o'clock fire watch in the middle of nowhere. You know, they don't understand, some of my dark humor. I mean, hell, Nancy doesn't even know half my dark humor. You know, she still decided to marry me. I don't know why, but hey, I'm very grateful for it. Because I'd say without her and without the dogs, I'd be one of those numbers. I'd be on that street. So, this is worth it. There are a lot of them out there that hurt. They don't know how to come back to society. They don't. You got a dog. I mean, you can't go wrong with a dog. So.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Do not hesitate to call, email, text, whatever. If you have questions, thoughts, if you want more about the program and understanding what we're doing, we want to be as transparent as possible. And I want you guys to be as comfortable as possible sharing about this program that you possibly can, because you're going to have a lot of opportunity to. It only takes a few seconds to explain it, and it's amazing the impact that people will want. So thank you. Appreciate you guys coming. You're perfectly fine. That's